Hi everybody, welcome to the show. Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. This is Raising A to Z. It is a YouTube channel all about homeschooling. My name is Amanda. I am a teacher-turned-homeschool mom. And a couple weeks ago, I did a video about how I planned my homeschool year. We'll put a link up here. First off, you guys loved it, which was great. We got a lot of love on that video. You guys wanted to know what I do to plan to have a successful month and a successful week and successful days and all of that. And so I thought I would do a couple of videos on what my planning looks like on a regular basis. But before I tell you guys what I do on a monthly basis, if you like our stuff, subscribe and click the bell. It really helps us out as YouTubers and helps me know what you guys like, helps me interact with you guys better, and just helps me make more content that works for you guys. So today I'm going to talk about what I do on a monthly basis. So before the month starts, what are some things that I like to do to set myself up for a successful month? So if you follow me here or on any of our social media, Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, you guys know that I am a huge fan of planning. I think that if you are not planning at least something, you're planning to fail. That's my philosophy. It works very well for me. But I'm also a believer in having kind of a flexible plan and kind of knowing what you're gonna do on a regular basis and kind of how your flow is gonna be, but also making sure that you have room and flexibility to switch it up if need be. So often I like to start getting ready for my month before the month ends. If we're looking at, say, like the month of September, I'm actually going to start preparing for September about a week before September starts. September is a little bit different because, we don't actually start until the day after Labor Day. So this year we had basically a whole week before we started school. And so on September 1st, I actually start getting ready for our month. And that's the day that I kind of start. So about a week out, I start to do a couple things. And then it just makes it easy because if I do one or two things a day, it means that I have less to do the day before my new month starts. The first thing I always want to do is I want to grab my trusty planner. And I want to make sure that I go through my month and add in anything that I need to add in event-wise. I'm talking about birthday parties, baby showers, eye doctor's appointments, haircuts, anything like that needs to go into the monthly planner. So I'm going to go into my planner and I'm going to add it right into the calendar right here. So I want to make sure that I have all those things in there because those are kind of the things that are just unexpected. We've got to make sure we have those. The next thing that I'm going to add to that same monthly calendar is I'm going to add the things that happen every single week. And I think that's super important because you don't want to forget them. Because when it comes to routine, those are the things that get forgotten often as well. So I'm going to make sure that I put in things like our weekly playgroup and co-op and gymnastics, things that happen on a regular basis. So once I have kind of my calendar filled out, I'm gonna start getting ready, actually getting in and getting my hands dirty. So basically those are kind of two things that I do, but I kind of do them all in one sitting. And it doesn't take me very long, but it really helps me get things kind of my brain focused on what the month looks like. And because then it gives you an overview of okay, so I have a really busy Wednesday this day because we have gymnastics and playgroup and we have eye doctor appointments and we have all these things. So that's gonna be a really crazy day. Probably not a great day to do a lot of homeschooling workbook types of activities that day. It gives me a little bit of flow of knowing where my busy days are and where I can plan in some rest. Then I'm gonna get my hands dirty and get into our actual prep of the month. So I'm gonna go into my homeschool room or activity room and I'm gonna give it a quick reset. So this is not the big reset that I do at the beginning of the month. You can see that video here if you wanna see how I massively reorganize my homeschool room before the school year. Basically every August I do it. But I'm talking about a little reset. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna wipe down the counters and the table, kind of make sure that everything's put away. And I'm gonna check all of our supplies. So I'm gonna make sure that we have pencils out, that they are not completely broken, that they're usable, sharpen anything that needs to be sharpened, make sure that we have markers, throw anything out that is broken, like old markers or pencils that the kids have just destroyed somehow. I'm going to go through and make sure we have all of our like school supplies, get rid of any papers that are ripped or whatever, and kind of just give the room a little bit of a reset. The next thing I'm going to do is I am going to start getting our books ready. So if you guys have been following us for a while, you know that I'm a big fan of unit studies, especially with younger kids. And so every month we do a new unit study, kind of a theme of the month, and that's what we focus on learning. And so one of the big things that I do for my unit studies is I make sure that I have either a book, originally it was a book basket, now we have some shelves in our activity room, and I like to switch all the books out. So I will go and take everything that's there off the shelves, and I will go through our collection here and pull out any books that are closely related to the topic. So I will pull things that are fiction and nonfiction and poetry, chapter books, field guides, encyclopedias, anything like that that kind of relates to our theme of the month. And I will, fill the shelves with that. This is also the time that I will take stock of how many books I have. So some books we have a lot of when it comes to like that topic. For example, this month we're doing like a famous women who changed the world theme. I have a lot of books on famous women who changed the world, like so many books. It's actually kind of astounding how many books we have on the topic. I don't really need to do a library run for that. But I was looking through our collections because I actually tend to pull a couple books at a time, and I was noticing we don't have a lot of dinosaur books. So when we come up to November, I'm gonna have to go in and pull some more library books. So this is why some things I start a week before the month starts. So in November, because it has 31 days, so before November 1st, so somewhere around like the 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, somewhere in there, I'm gonna go onto my library's online database, and I'm going to put holds on books. I'm just going to search dinosaurs and books about dinosaurs and encyclopedias of dinosaurs and stuff like that into the search bar, and anything that pops up that I think my kids would be interested in, I'm going to place a hold. And I do that about a week out, because then my books actually come in. It usually takes about like 4 to 6 days to get the whole selection of books. So if I ask for 20 books and I go in, like it takes about a week. Not quite a week, but almost. So that gives me some time to get them so that I actually can have nice full shelves before the month starts. So that is something that I want to make sure that I get done. I like the online thing because I can just kind of put holds, and then I just have to go pick them up. I don't actually have to browse the shelves, because that can take a long time, especially if you're looking to get several books, because our library runs are often about 15 to 20 books. So that can take a while to have to find those on the shelves themselves. So if I do it online, I can just pick it up when they're ready. And also, because we live in a more remote area, kind of remote, we have one library for multiple towns. And so every town will have their own library, and they're all under the same database. So if I put holds in, they'll actually ship the books from the different libraries to my local library, and I can just pick them up. So I can get a bigger selection by ordering online versus actually going in person. So something to think about. The next thing I'm actually going to do is I'm going to go through and actually plan out what my unit study is going to look like for the month. So typically when we do a unit study, we do a lot of reading. We do all of our readings every day from our bookshelves. And then I try to do anywhere from 4 to 6 hands-on activities or bigger lessons for the month. My kids are still young, so as we get older, I'm sure that'll turn into 6 to 8 and then 8 to 10, as they get older. But for right now, I'm finding that 4 to 6 lessons that are more in-depth lessons and have a hands-on activity work really well when it comes to our unit studies. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sit down and plan out what are the kind of 4 to 6 big ideas we want to get done. What's that lesson going to look like? Do I need any supplies? I'm going to spend a lot of time on Pinterest because I'm a big beg, borrow, and steal kind of person. I don't really try to reinvent the wheel. And so I'm going to go on to Pinterest and come up with some ideas, look and see what people are doing, and then kind of adjust them to fit what we're learning about, right? And so I'm going to do that now so that when that first day comes, we are ready to jump right in. And I'm not trying to figure out what my lessons for the rest of the month are going to be, because typically those are the big lessons that I have to do a lot of planning for. Most of my other lessons, I'm not super in depth with. It also gives me a chance to do the next thing on my list, which is to make a list of supplies. So because we do a lot of hands-on learning, especially for our unit studies, it gives me a chance to see what I need. And so, for example, if I'm going to do like, if I'm going to do like a Play-Doh activity for a dinosaur unit and I need to have some Play-Doh, well, I need to make sure that I either have Play-Doh or have the ingredients to make Play-Doh. And so it gives me a chance to sit back and say, okay, here are the activities, here's a list of everything I need to have to do them. What am I missing? And so that gives me a chance to either pick it up at the grocery store, stop in at a craft supply store, or order it online. So it gives me some time without being like I am panicked and rushed and need to do it right now. Or we don't have an activity tomorrow. Because that is like the worst feeling, is waking up and realizing I don't have anything planned for tomorrow and the kids are here all day and they don't have an activity. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna make sure that I have all my supplies and try to get as many of those supplies before the month starts. Just because then I have everything I need and I don't need to worry for the rest of the month. So those are the things that I do on a monthly basis. I hope that you guys find them helpful. Next week, I'm gonna talk about what I do every single week. So what my actual, like when I sit down to do my weekly planning, what does that look like? So yeah, you'll definitely want to check that out next week. If you guys want to see how I do my unit studies and how planning actually works in our house, make sure you follow us on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok. We put a lot of stuff on there to help you guys out and just to show you what we're doing. So thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next week.